Hello and thank you so much for joining us on this week's News in Depth program. My name is Pennipher, your presenter. Well, we've started a two-part series last week where we were looking at opportunities in as far as the cotton industry is concerned. This week we switch from farming systems to value addition, and we'll be looking at opportunities that women in Mumbwa district are supported by the Cotton Association of Zambia are taking to make sure that they add value to the cotton that they grow. We'll also be showcasing another project in Lusaka. Well, stay tuned to this week's program as we highlight value addition initiatives in the cotton industry. Stay tuned. A colorful display of products made from locally grown cotton. The hands behind these masterpieces are women found in the outlying villages of Mumbwa district in central Zambia. Georgina is one of the women here in Mabele area, skilled in transforming raw cotton fiber into multiple products for everyday use. Like many in this part of the country, Georgina has learned that adding value to the cotton she grows should not just be a hobby.
Kwamba batuletere ma machine aza tutalike kuchita kuti kuweavinga mbakazi mbo bakatuletera twakaiya 32 days kutalika ku spinning ku nani kumatashi lendo kumatashi mbulimbu mwabona saka tweza fuka 14 days tuyala shenda injo twatalika kuiyabye kuivinga njwa mana na mantru mwaza
Georgina lives in an area that offers favorable conditions for the farming of what some have referred to as white gold. This is because the entire cotton crop is useful, from its seed, stalk, and the most sought-after lint and fiber.
The seed of a cotton crop can be crushed in order to produce cooking oil. The cotton stalk can be used to make briquettes and many other materials. So I mean, if there's only 5% wastage, which means there's a lot that the country can do with utilizing this cotton crop. Now, in the current situation where 95% of the cotton is exported, as you can see, a lot of this opportunity is wasted or exported to other countries.
If you are a farmer, you can even get your seed and feed your animals. You get more beef, more milk out of that, or you feed your pigs. And the same seed cotton, if you can add another value, you can get oil from there.
Cotton has multiple uses of economic value.
When we look at the byproduct, which is the cotton seed, which actually accounts for about 60 to 65% of the seed cotton. There we have a bit of some value addition. You talk about oil being produced from that, even though there it is not very much, but there is some value addition happening. But under the byproducts, there are other products that can be produced from that. You're talking about the cotton stalks being used to be produced as fuel pellets, okay, which can be used for heating, okay. Then we also have the same stalks that can be used for making cardboards, okay. We also have other byproducts that can come from the short fiber cotton.
As a mother of 13, Georgina is happy that she can now assist her husband fend for the family.
Tatuliuswe cheni tulima bamwe for sure balali kwa kulima cotton wezo ati halireba maningi kabateji kwamba mukotoni muona mumuvwa buko tugonse.
Her story resonates with that of other farmers in this group who have been able to significantly change their day-to-day life.
Fyafine pantu filinga ka scarf tuwalashisha 150 apo pashile ingira na 25 kg ya cotton ya ni cotton ino no yakula ndo twara kwata mo urupia urwingi 150 ero pali na yambi kuti muri 350 ne fyama 600 epofidi.
The farmers here grow substantial volumes of cotton, considering that Mumbwa is in Central Province, which is one of the 3 cotton growing zones in the country. Mumbwa is also a special place because it houses the only farmer-owned ginnery, helping in the processing of cotton, giving it greater value.
Yes, this factory is the first ever farmer-owned ginnery known as Mumbwa Farmers Ginning and Pressing Company, whose scope was born in 2012. The capacity of this plant is 5,000 metric tons per season.
The ginnery was set up with the support of the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission, a move greatly appreciated by the Cotton Association of Zambia. The association would like the concept replicated.
We have a very successful industry starting at Mumbwa, where farmers are now able to take their cotton, have it togined, and they can then sell lint, and they can sell cotton seed, or take their cotton seed and feed their livestock. Or indeed, as we are going to start sooner than later, they crush the cotton seed for cooking oil and have cotton cake to feed the animals. But they could also go into spinning and weaving. So we're now looking at what government can do is to translate the success of the Mumbwa ginnery in the various other provinces where farmers grow as much cotton as Mumbwa grows. So we can create jobs locally with the farmers' children in those areas.
Ginning, which is a separation of lint from fiber, is the most basic form of processing that cotton undergoes. The women of Mabele have a simplified version of this process.
Nga twaswa cotton mumabala yesu twaisabika kapali machine okweba ati cotton yesu ifume kwendoti eka machine akamilemo nako eko bare chitakumako kwefi kakuchita open okweba ati cotton ibeko ilekaneko ibe soft nga yafuma apa yero kubika apa batampa okula spinning okupanga ma threads yani sehemu na ilia ine ya kutukuntwa ne ifuma kutia otuwapi ero nga twafuma okukiteefi inombe iso okuli bana mayo aba balebire efefu balepikula nomba amadoyi.
10 ginning companies operate in Zambia, offering the most basic form of processing. Sadly, they all work way below their capacity.
In Zambia, we have a ginning capacity of about 290,000 thereabout, and yet our ginneries are operating at maybe 150. So we have a big capacity, and these ginners are longing to have that crop.
In Lusaka, cotton value addition can hardly be noticed. Somewhere in the Central Business District, we found a group of people calling themselves the Master Weavers, and their work is only visible to those who find their hideout. Their products are very appealing to the eye. However, the beauty of these products shields the bigger problem they face.
When a farmer grows that cotton, it's taken to the ginnery. Then the ginnery has to take that raw material to the textiles to go and spin into a fiber, from cotton to a fiber, a thread, I can say maybe a thread. Now those those textiles, most of them are closed. Like we had Mumbwa textile, we had Kafua. So those are the challenges that we have. We were depending on Mumbwa textile in Ndola, which also is a bit limping, because those are some of the challenges that we have. We wanted if our government can look into that, if at least these textiles can be opened, it will be a support also to us, because that's we are small scale industry who are growing, who are trying to support the vulnerable, where they cannot get a job, at least someone can employ himself or herself like we have done ourselves. We are self-employed.
The Master Weavers have worked with the Cotton Association of Zambia through training of farmers and other interest groups keen to add value to their raw produce as is the case in Mumbwa. In 2015, the European Union and COMESA jumped on board in supporting the Mumbwa project. Despite the success of the project, another problem appeared: machinery.
Bali abalesambirira kuti kwabakotwa musango efu. Bali abatambira kale kuti twakulako okweba tikotoni ile yapweyi.
Local institutions like the Kabwe Institute of Technology have jumped on board in duplicating the much-needed handlooms.
The first machines that you have seen here were bought from Ethiopia. But this time around, we are fortunate enough that Kabwe Institute of Technology has been able to replicate the machinery, which was bought by the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. So the other machinery has been taken to the other parts of the cotton growing districts that I have mentioned. And we are looking for further support from the European Union, COMESA, and of course the government, so that they could fund us with more machinery, so that these women could have machinery in each home, where the family will also be able to participate in weaving and spinning.
In the past years, Zambia used to have a very viable textile industry. Companies like Mulungushi Textiles, Sirius International Luansha, and Kafue Textiles were prominent for making clothing and various kinds of apparel. In that era, there were more than 130 companies in the sector. In the 1960s, the textile sector is said to have received substantial support from the Kenneth Kaunda government at a time when they were implementing the import substitution policy. The policy proved to be costly when copper earnings significantly reduced and the cotton subsector suffered greatly. Years on, the picture is uninspiring.
Before the Second Republic, Zambia used to produce, we had a lot of textile industry, but with the changes in government policies, that has been put aside.
Efforts to rebuild the cotton industry were reignited in 2009 when government crafted the Commerce, Trade and Industrial Policy, detailing an industrialization plan which also covered the cotton subsector. In the strategy, it was projected that cotton had potential of creating more than 4,000 jobs across the value chain. With the implementation of the strategy still limping, government is being challenged to find new ways of attracting large-scale investment in the sector.
Yeah, unfortunately, beyond ginning, most of our lint is exported, as we have a defunct textile industry. Yeah, so it's up to government to provide a conducive environment to bring these investors to come and start investing in spinning, weaving, and the other thing. But in as far as the cotton, what we call fuzzy seed, the seed, when you separate the lint from the seed, that has also a big market in Zambia. Unfortunately, companies like Mantumero, Continental, they are processing, and farmers are accessing the cake for livestock production, and also we have cooking oil produced from cotton. So there's a lot that we can benefit from cotton.
The Ministry of Agriculture is aware of such demands and notes that it is working with its sister ministry in Commerce to attract investments in the multi-facility economic zones as well as the farming blocks.
In view of the prevailing conducive environment in the country, more investors have visited the country from all over the world, because as you are aware, Pennipher, Zambia, we've got massive natural water bodies, we've got good arable land, and so most of them are show interest in investing in the cotton sector, like I said, from out-grower levels through spinning, weaving, up to garment production or its value chain. So government has really created the multi-facility economic zones also with good incentives for the investors who are willing to engage into cotton production.
The Cotton Development Trust is entrusted with research and cotton seed development. They too are interested in the processing of the crop.
What we need to do to mitigate this is to do a complete value addition chain of cotton, from production up to byproducts of cotton. You know, we need to bring back textiles. We need also to involve small-scale farmers or maybe cooperatives to do value addition, coming up with scarves, making other clothes which we can now sell in the shops. That will increase the value of cotton and ultimately the price that is going to be paid to the farmer.
Farmers appear in the picture as they are tasked to increase production, which can in turn help processors. On their end, farmers are not happy with the price offered by cotton buyers, and as a result, pricing has become a major debatable issue in the sector.
We do not have a producer pricing mechanism in Zambia. And in Africa, there are only two countries who don't have a pricing model for cotton, and that's Nigeria and Zambia. All the surrounding countries in this region have got a pricing model. But in Zambia, it has been difficult to agree on a pricing model for producers.
Recommendation has been made for a pricing model to be established, but certain interest groups have opposed the idea.
We have been working seriously with these journals to see that we have a pricing mechanism where it is predictable and the farmer can know whether he should grow cotton or not. Yeah. However, we found that there's been some reluctance by these journals to adopt that pricing model. But if it was adopted, we believe that it is something that can encourage farmers to remain in cotton and grow it season to season, unlike the fluctuation that we are currently seeing.
Government, on the other hand, wants a fair pricing model, providing mutual benefits to be implemented.
Cotton growers are dotted along far-flung areas within our rural parts of our country. And cotton production, like I said, it's a laborious engagement, or it's a farming activity. So farmers at the end of the day need to find a better price. So these private investors and the consultants that we are engaging obviously will come up with a framework that at least cotton has a better price.
Away from pricing, another threat to the growth of the textile industry emerges, and these are second-hand clothes, commonly called salaula. The cheaper option and seemingly easy access is seen to hinder growth of the textile manufacturing industry.
There is need for the government to institute laws that will foster the market for locally grown cotton to be manufactured into apparel. By that, the government needs to bring in or allow investors to come in and set up textiles in the country and more or less gradually phase out the use of second-hand clothes, popularly known as salaula.
Journalists are not the only ones with this view.
History has that whatever is made in Zambia might not be original, but that's not true, because what we produce, most of, like I said, most of our customers, they order from us to take it as far as Germany, Asian countries, but if you look at our own Zambians, they're coming up, but they are not very much supportive. But we just need to continue talking to them.
Zambia na yeye na ile avantage tatulifya fintu twalika deli yaka tushina ponga ni muri bakaunda fo pantu mo twalifidia twali abakulanda okutira ti tatwaishiba okutira shani alero pali no shita kulingana ngaya ifintu no fileya na tuchita shani na tuchinja.
The failure by locals to accept local brands is also a thorny issue, hence the call for patriotism and appreciation of locally made goods.
There's a revolution going around the world about our own is better. So if we made clothing from our own locally produced cotton,
I'm sure many people would be glad to wear it. The other issue you mentioned on is the issue of price. I'm sure if the right policies are put in place, the issue of price for the locally grown and produced cotton apparel would not be a factor, because the factors would be that the cost of production would be high for the production of new clothes, but the issue of incentivizing the customers through marketing, as I said, the proudly Zambian aspect, through also putting in certain subsidies to reduce the production would help.
The revived textile industry is also expected to boost other segments of manufacturing, like those in fashion.
We can make sanitary pads from cotton, which we should be starting very soon with the support of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. We are going soon with the farmers going to start crushing cotton for cooking oil and the cake to feed our animals. And then you have very innovative youth in this country who can now go into fashion and design. And we're done.
Another challenge seen to hinder the growth of the cotton processing is taxation.
We are grappling under the challenges of many taxes that are induced on us. Taxes such as export taxes, taxes on equipment, district council taxes, as well as cotton levy. So this hampers operations in the way you can think of it as, a lot of money is spent not primarily on the farmer, but on offsetting these financial obligations.
It is the expectation of government that the revised agricultural policy will provide further yardsticks for the growth of the cotton industry.
Pennipher envisage to do some adjustments to the policy. But the other issues that are worth noting that are stakeholder consultations are very key in the revision of this Cotton Act, I think, which was done sometime in 2005.
The achievements scored at small-scale level in Mumbwa's Mabele area gives the Cotton Association zeal to see more work in processing.
We have trained the farmers, the cotton farmers. They are weaving, they are spinning. But from here, we would want further support from the European Union, COMESA and the government so that we could move these farmers, apart from weaving, we want to move them a step further by becoming fashion designers, tailors, so that we can go into apparel. So through the support, Mumbwa Textiles will be able to spin thinner threads, thinner yarn that can be used for making shirts. Instead of us waiting for us as the Zambians exporting the lint, we can actually make the shirts within Zambia.
Revision of the Cotton Act with direct promotion of value addition and other interests helping in the growth of the cotton subsector is being strongly recommended. Against all odds, projections for the sector look up.
The cotton sector is very viable, and that's why us in the Ministry of Agriculture we are encouraging to grow this sector and to encourage many of our farmers to engage into cotton production.
The cotton sector in the next 3 years, given the government goodwill that is obtaining, will be at a very, very high level. I foresee a mushrooming of village or cottage industries in spinning and weaving. I foresee a lucrative cottage industry in cotton seed cooking oil extraction. I foresee a resuscitation of the textile industry at a higher level in all our major towns of Zambia. And I foresee many tailors, many fashion designers, and cotton, Zambian cotton, clothing Zambians.
In order to provide more to the sector, the small-scale value addition projects are calling for help.
Ngachakuti chateka ukubomba kwakumaboko kula kokoshe fintu mapanga namukwata ko fimbifya electricity kuti nchito ile yangu kako nama weaving machines nga yafulako kuti namana kwati kitokutirenda bwangu empwana
obuteko mututwalira okula tutwalira kwa masambiro pantanshi n'okubula okula mututungirire fwe baana maayo namaayo nga kyakula ndoti asambire fintu bwingi fingi wishibokula ndoti nekyalo kyose nshiranyisha cyane nakisambirira.
The future many want to see is a Zambia where clothes and other apparel are manufactured locally and the Made in Zambia tag clearly labeled. More so, decent jobs in the cotton value chain will be increased, as is the case in certain countries whose industrial hub is centered around the crop. In line with strategies and stakeholder expectations, the future of the cotton industry is seen to be viable only if deliberate efforts aid those making small contributions. Thank you so much for having made time to watch this week's News in Depth program. We've come to the end of the show, and we do hope that you found this week's program informative. My name is Pennipher and I encourage you to join us next week for yet another news documentary right here on ZNBC TV1. We say goodbye and thank you for watching.